Hi everyone. So, Abdul El-Sayed recently won the election uh, for the primary election for to be a senator for Michigan. Well, for the Democratic Party, the nominee. And had me thinking, because I don't know, just I'm in Michigan. I'm from Michigan, and I was watching it, and like before he won, there was a lot of talk like, is he electable? Um, People think Stevens was going to be more electable. And I think the reason is like they mentioned like, oh yeah, Michigan is a swing state. It's not like liberal and like they thought his dual views a little considered liberal. But I think people don't understand what swing state is. Like, I mean, the thing what swing state is, but like why the swing state is. Like, I think it's a mistake that's common to think, oh, Hallie's more moderate, so she would have a better chance. When it's like not really. I don't think the reason the swing is not people like looking at someone like, oh, they're too far this direction or that direction. You know, I want somebody like in the middle. I don't think that's how really it works. I never knew anybody that was like that. Like, whew, I need somebody right in the middle. Don't want too far either way. I think it's usually more like, sometimes you have people, since we only have like, well, we have one party, but like two parties that are likely to win like big offices, Republicans and Democrats, and they have like different ideas, usually on each side. Sometimes you get somebody like, oh, I believe in this and that, right? So you get somebody like in the middle because they, or like maybe lean one way with the views. But honestly, I think people really look at it like economically. Like what people feel like is going to do the best policy that's going to do economically be the best. And when you look at like most of the time we switch parties or something like that, like first of all, I would think Reagan when he became in office. I know he came out like a baby, so I don't really know, but I know people for years I would hear people say like, "Oh, Michigan is home of the Reagan Democrats," because a lot of Democrats apparently they switched over and voted for Reagan in the '80 election. And the reason what I think, and if you look at the time when I looked at it, that was like before it was like when America was dealing with stagflation, so the economy wasn't doing well. And then Reagan comes and he's like, can't doing. He actually he was make the "Let's Make America Great Again" slogan came from Reagan, and he was running like, hey, the economy's not doing well, let's try to fix it. And he kind of introduced like neoliberalism, like which is like political idea. You would like basically like tax cuts for businesses, like deregulation, tax cuts for the rich. What else was it? Let's see. There was, I think it was, free market principles. Laissez-faire economy. No regulations. And so that's why I think the switch happened there was economic. Clinton came off it because he kind of took on the same neoliberal policy, but maybe not as harsh. So I guess maybe that's where they came with the somewhere in the middle. Because Clinton came in, he took neoliberalism, but it wasn't as far. It's like, yeah, we're cutting stuff, but not as much stuff. We're still cutting government programs, stuff like that, but not as much. All right. And so maybe that's where the idea of somewhere in the middle. But I really think it's more economic. Like, I guess, like I said, I brought up Clinton was a switch because I think the economy kind of stalled down when the first Bush became, running his term. So once again, get somebody come in, pretty much economic terms, and that's where you switch over. Like, oh, you went for Reagan, first Bush, then they went for Clinton. I think, if I remember correctly, we didn't really. Second Bush didn't win after Clinton, Michigan, so because the economy was good, so there was no reason to jump, right? After Bush, the economy was bad. Kind of pushing for Obama, swing state kind of thing. I read it up and then yeah, that's a good example. I think that's what people really look at, and so I look at Abdul El-Sayed, and I'm looking at his policies and at least how he speaks in interviews and stuff like that. And I don't know, he looks like he has a chance. If he can reach people, I mean, he has a hurdle of his race and religion, because there are races and Islamophobics that will not be able to get over that and oh my gosh, he's Muslim. But if they're actually looking at his saying, it's like, oh, how's the economy? He's really running on economic issues and stuff like that. He might. It's something that people like Medicare for all. Oh, people say, oh, that's too far left. But I think most of us, I think everyone, I don't know, not everyone, but healthcare is important to people. On both Republican, Democrat, whatever. The way our healthcare system, people have issues. A lot of people have problems with paying their medical. It's too high for a lot of things. So that's that's something that could easily cross aisles. I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I don't know. I just want to bring that out. And I don't know. And I guess also swing state. It wasn't really economics, but Trump, he did kind of win a lot of stuff. But one of the things he was talking about draining the swamp, right? And I remember at the time, I know some people that I think they went to him, voted for him, and it was because of that idea of draining the swamp, because they thought he had so much money he wouldn't need to be bribed by political action PACs and stuff like that. I don't know how that really worked, how much draining spells happen, but you have somebody like Abdul, and his entire, one of his big things is that he doesn't take PAC money. So that I could see that being a draw for who might have been the Trump supporters that voted for him because they thought about draining swamps, and not, somebody that actually votes for them and not other interest, or maybe. Oh, I just want to bring that up because I just find it interesting that the idea it's in the middle was really, I think, and I can see this from somebody from Michigan, but I can see this from other swing states like Wisconsin, who has somebody running, Francesca, with different economic ideas, and we're not really doing that great economically right now in the nation. So I could see us, people, like that being a drive to changing for people that have for coming different idea. Yeah, and I was bringing up Abdul El-Sayed. I saw some interviews and people brought up stuff like this, like, "Oh, do you believe in socialism?" And his response kind of fits what I'm talking about, the idea of swing state, where he's like, "I'm a doctor. I don't believe in ideology like that. I just try to see what works." And I think that's kind of sums it up. I don't think people are as, oh, I'm on this idea, how the economy has to be. I'm stuck here. If an idea comes that seems like it might be a good thing, I'll vote for it. If it works, we'll go for it. Which is sometimes how I know some people. I remember talking to somebody, but I forgot who. It was like how you could switch so quickly. Like you might have right after Obama wins office, Rick Snyder, Democrat Obama, Rick Snyder becomes governor a couple years later. It might seem crazy, different party, completely different views than not, because you have a message people believed in. Some people say, okay, there's somebody running to get economic policy for the nation, and then who's do they think sounds good for the state? Then switch like Trump wins, but then Big Rich wins, kind of thing. It might seem like, oh, that's crazy. How do you, but just know about that. Just want to bring that up. Bye.